working on an essay right now, but as soon as I'm done, I'll get right back with you. Hi there, YouTube and all my subscriber friends. This is Garrett with Houses on Wheels. And today I'd like to address a couple of questions that were asked by one of my subscribers. So let's get right to it. Debrajoy asked, okay, being female, I have a large amount of curiosity. So where are you? What made you decide to do this? Blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. It's not just me, we all want to know. First of all, where am I? I've mentioned it in a few videos from time to time, and I'm in the Seattle, Washington area. And the other question, this is the bigger question that I wanted to address, and that is, what made me decide to do this? The short answer is I've always had the itch to do this. But the long answer goes all the way back to when I was 9 years old, a whole whopping 22 years ago. My best friend at the time and I would talk about having a slug bug together. You know, those Volkswagen bugs. We'd live in it and just travel all over the country. Of course, that's unrealistic, but when you're 9 years old, everything's just a dream, right? So the whole idea of a minimalistic lifestyle occurred far before I'd ever even heard of some sort of minimalism movement. If it is a movement, I think it's just a lifestyle that's been going on for a long time. Of course, I haven't really done much research on the history behind minimalism, and perhaps one day I will, but today is not that day. Then when I was 19, so this is 12 years ago, a guy, and I don't remember what his name was, but he had a Volkswagen bus, and it's one of those. It wasn't a Vanagon, but it was just a standard bus that he had converted into kind of a camper. He had his own bed in it, and he had a house battery in there that was separate from the starter battery. And he just wired up a standard car CD player type of thing, and a couple of speakers. And he didn't even have to have the key in the ignition. I thought that was the coolest thing. I thought, man, if I could just do that in some sort of like small van or something, I'd be set. I'd be good to go, and life would be easy going from there on out. So fast forward 12 years, something between the age of 19 and the age of 30, in some sort of interval, I wanted to become a homeowner because that was the American thing to do. Invest in yourself. And I came close. I came very close to owning a house. And it would have been a cute little 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. And very simple, small lot of land. But it just didn't happen. And I don't know what I was looking up on YouTube. But I came across something along the lines of living in a van. And I thought to myself, this sounds awfully familiar. And I was watching more and more of these videos. It reminded me of that memory of when I was 19, wanting to live this sort of lifestyle in a van. It's something that I wanted to do when I was much younger. Well, if you consider 12 years ago to be much younger, I do, but that's my own philosophy. So now that you know the story behind what made me decide to do this, live this sort of lifestyle, I'd also like to give a few reasons as to the benefits of living this sort of lifestyle. So, if I were to give 5 reasons as to why I want to live this sort of minimalistic van lifestyle, the 5th reason would be for the freedom. Knowing that I can pick up and go wherever I want and whenever I want. Now, I acknowledge that the major reason for most people to live this sort of lifestyle is the freedom. But although I do think that's important, I do not necessarily see it as a driving force for me. I don't have a rebellious attitude. I'm not about anarchy, and I don't know if I would necessarily even classify myself as a free spirit. And I'm not saying that anybody else is like that, or views life in that sort of way. But that's just simply not how I am. Freedom is still important. It's just not the driving force to me. Number 4 in the list of 5 reasons is simply that I've felt that influence to live such a lifestyle, many years ago, all the way back to when I was 9. So there's that. The third reason is to live a much simpler, more minimalistic life. I consider myself not a hoarder per se, but borderline hoarding, and I'm willing to let that sort of behavior go. There are other behaviors in my life that I've been willing to give up in the past, so I feel fairly confident that this is going to be another one of those that, Lord willing, is one that I can also give up, given enough time, patience, and determination. So that would be the third reason, is simplifying life. The second reason has to do with flexibility. Freedom is one thing, but flexibility is another. Right now I have a very good job, and I know that does not necessarily always have to be available for me. At any time, if the economy goes south, I can be laid off, and so having that flexibility to work and then work full-time. Right now I work overtime, and if business gets slow at my current work, I can simply volunteer to take some time off, so that way those who need the hours more than I do can benefit from me not needing so many hours in order to survive. Not having to worry about living paycheck to paycheck is always a nice benefit. So flexibility is an important thing to me as well. That's why I think I put that on the number 2 spot. And number 1 is the ability to give back more. Now, I don't want it to seem like I'm bragging, because I'm not, or to make it seem like I'm this really good person or whatever, which I'm a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm better than somebody else because I like to give to charities and nonprofit organizations and whatnot. But I do like to give what the Lord has provided to me. And so, being able to reduce my cost of living would allow me to be able to give more to people who can benefit, even in third world countries. Right? Like, for example, right now, Feed the Hungry is a nonprofit organization that feeds children in need. And if I remember correctly, $72 will feed a child and give education and shelter for an entire year. $72 for an entire year. And right now I might be able to afford that $72 and pay that once a month or something like that. But if I reduce my cost of living down to a third of what it is now, then I can easily pay 3 or 4 or even 5 of those $72 payments. And each month, because the Lord has provided, I'd be able to supply the organization with the funds necessary to feed 5 children for an entire year each month. And that's huge to me. I like the idea of being able to do that. That is a phenomenal thing to me. So anyway, those are the 5 reasons. So thank you for asking those questions, debrajoy, and I hope that I adequately answered them for you. I enjoy these questions. It gives me more content to work with, and you know, it just gives more of an opportunity for you, my subscriber friends, and my YouTube viewers in general to get to know me a little bit better. So if you have any other questions, please post them down below in the comment section, and in between the build videos that I'm working on, you know, I'll be able to answer them for you. And I very much enjoy interacting with all of you. So I know it's been about a week since I've submitted a build video. I apologize, but I've been working insane overtime at work right now because we've been down a person. But I do plan on progressing more this week, so stay tuned because there's going to be at least one more build video. So until then, thank you for watching. Take care. Love others as you love yourself. I'll see you next time.